got me at the perfect time, my man. All right.
Oh, yeah, me too. So it actually works out for the both of us.
Good.
All right, so I'll get this started. So welcome back from Desk Blow. We're in the middle of Season 8. This is actually the third interview of Season 8. And, man, I wanted to make this happen for a while, but I kind of wanted to sit back and actually observe this artist because, as you do media, you start to find all the artists that you hear of and, I'm just watching and just see what he does. So I got to watch him do like the Big Kill. I enjoyed Heavy Math, and then the project of Tone Beatz. Oh man, that's my joint 360. Oh, that's my joint right there. I love the video game references. He's a gamer, so we're gonna get into all that. So man, he's one hell of a lyricist too. And 2020, and let's be honest, man, like some versatility in this man. Oh, it's flawless. So without further introductions, man, I got Killy Shoot.
Thank you so much, Lo. You know what I mean? I definitely see what you're doing out here. You know what I mean? I love what you get down with. I love that what you contribute to the culture. I really respect it. A lot of people, do interviews and contribute in certain ways, but I don't know, you got a certain style. You know what I mean? Genetic quality yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really mess with that. You know what I mean? I feel you present on a high scale, and I salute you, my brother. I salute you.
I appreciate it, man. I'm just a fan of the coach, man. I just like to hear what artists have to say outside of the music, because we're all human beings at the end of the day.
No doubt. I definitely understand that, and thank you for that praise, by the way.
Say it like it is. So I was wondering too, because as a fan, I'm gonna do my research on the artist. So what I like to hear outside of the music too, I found some of your story a little bit interesting. I caught bits and pieces, so I managed to put a little piece together. And then when I listened to the music, I'm like, take me back to the late '80s and how that was for
you. The late '80s, as in growing up, or as
yes, sir.
Well, I love hip hop. I come from a place called Worcester, Massachusetts. I got a lot of family from New York, the Bronx. Hip hop has been my whole life. You know what I mean? My older brother, he put me onto a lot of hip hop. I grew up listening to a lot of, Grand Proof was probably one of my top artists. A lot of, everything that's hip hop, I kind of encompass from, Cool C, Steady B, Edo G and the Bulldogs, you know what I'm saying? Wu-Tang, everything. I kind of, people know, I just love hip-hop, and I always have. So it's always dear to my heart, you know what I'm saying? And being from where I'm from, Worcester, Massachusetts, we don't really get a lot of play in this hip-hop shit. People always sometimes ask me about my accent, you know what I mean? It's a little strong at times being from where I'm from.
Yeah.
But I consider that what was once a crutch. It's something that kind of helps me now, but growing up in the 80s in Worcester and Maine South, it was a wild time. It wasn't always the best conditions, and I learned a lot. Doing things I probably shouldn't have, and I learned a lot from that. You know what I mean? It made me who I am today. So I would never change anything from that. But it was a very fun time, man. Hip hop has always been part of me, so I was always surrounded by music and hip hop. My pops always played records. You know what I mean? So this is something I really love. It's what I love to do. Oops, let me get that mic.
Oh yeah, no worries. We can add that part out.
All right, cool. So it's just something that I really love to do, and even with my brothers from Hometeam, they all know. I'm like a hip hop head. I'm always on some old school tip, and I'm just with it, man. I'm just really into it.
Okay, so you actually got to see hip hop throughout the '80s and they actually experienced the '90s, because for me, I got into hip hop around '98. So I would give my left arm to go back and get to experience Illmatic or the Enter the Wu-Tang release back then, because back then there's no internet back then. Everything was I wish I had a magazine by me, but everything was by press by then, or actual watching it on cable. So growing up, I gotta ask, because you said Illmatic was one of the albums that influenced you the most. So when was the day you discovered Illmatic? I love hearing these type of stories from artists, and then they become artists.
Nas and Slick Rick, and also Cool G Rap. Those are big artists to me growing up. I deal with a lot of storytelling in my raps as well, and those are artists that I really look up to and respect. When I first heard Illmatic, I heard Nas on the halftime joint.
Okay.
And my older brother, it's Justice. Make sure I'm good. All right. My older brother said there's a cat named Nas. And, I was like, whatever. I didn't really know too much. I'm still kind of not real young. I'm in my teens and stuff. And he played me a tape. And I ain't never heard nobody like that use that kind of pattern for rhyming. going back and forth and whatnot, and storytelling, and being able to articulate his surroundings. He was a kid that was looking out the window and able to articulate at a high level. You know what I'm saying? So that was always big to me. You know what I mean? And I never forget that day. I was on Murray Ave in Worcester, Mass, 5th floor. You know what I mean? With my man Big Lex. You know what I mean? Eating Lorna Doones. And we listened to Illmatic. You know what I'm saying? We had some Lorna Doones and milk. You know what I'm saying? We got busy with that, and it changed my life. Hearing Nas was almost like hearing the second coming of Rakim to me.
Yeah, because, like, back then I heard, like the way that he was rhyming and the patterns that he was using, it was, like, unheard of for somebody that young to be like, are you sure you're the age that you are? Because, like...
Yeah, definitely. He was above his years. You know what I mean? With that out. He was, grown men had to observe and take heed to what he was doing. So, yeah, it was real. It was real, man. It was real. It was definitely real.
Man, you can actually see, like, the influence, like, that has, like, throughout all these years. Like, when you listen to, like, like, an artist like Killy Shoot or, like, an artist from, like, Benny the Butcher, it's, like, you can actually see, like, the impact, like, these lyricists has from the 90s onto these artists today.
Thank you, man. To put me in that right there, man, I'm humbled, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for that, you know what I'm saying? I do respect a lot, I really put a lot of time into what I do, and it's very serious for me, and to hear that from you, I'm always humbled, because where I come from and the life I used to live, I never thought I'd be doing this now, so I'm just very fortunate through the grace of Allah that I'm able to contribute to be a part of this culture and just do what I do and be with a fabulous group of brothers that respect, so, you know what I mean, to put me in that low, I'm humbled, you know what I mean? I'm humbled with that right there.
Because, like, I like when an artist has, like, something to say, like, other than, I just deal drugs or something like that. Like, I think, like, you have, like, one of the hardest Zelda bars, like, that I ever heard in hip-hop. I haven't written down, I don't want to mess this up. This bar was hard. AK Gold Culture, it's a colored Zelda. And I was like, yo, Adam was like... Oh, yeah. I was like, yo, I love that. Because, like... If you're not a gamer, that's just gonna fly over your head, and with an artist like a Raekwon, they would use slang like that. Only certain people would know like that. It's like, oh, I get that.
Well, I mean, for me, I was doing a lot of bad stuff in the streets, so I was always punished. So I play a lot of video games.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I was a really big gamer, and I'm coming from that era, AK Gold cartridge called a Zelda. You know what I mean? So that's for my. I always try to tie in. A lot of video game references and old television shows and stuff that means dear to me. I grew up watching a lot of sci-fi, watching a lot of different kind of shit. So it was like I put that in there for people that if you get it, you get it. I like putting Easter eggs through all my rhymes. You know what I mean?
Okay.
For people to pick up. So if you just not, I'm not gonna lie, kick street knowledge all day. That's what I do is kick street knowledge.
Yeah.
I come from a place where, that's what I do, and that's what people kind of expect from me. And, I also am, a 5%er, God body. I grew up in a Muslim household. Okay. My dad was a student. So I kind of always feel like I have to do certain things, make sure that I have certain lessons I got to get across. But the video game thing, I always feel like that's for my people, that's for, no disrespect, for my geeks right there, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no.
You get busy with that, you get busy with that, but you're going to understand me. You may hear some stuff in there. Some, I was playing Commodore 64. I was playing Amiga.
Neo Geo. Oh man, we're gonna talk about that.
Oh yeah, you got to that. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about low Neo Geo. And where I'm from, his little sidebar about the Neo Geo. When I was coming up, Neo Geo, was a very expensive system.
It was like gold. I ain't gonna lie.
But so to get that system where I came from in my hood, that's the drug dealers who want to get that system. You know what I'm saying? If you were a rich person or you were dealing in certain things you shouldn't be dealing with. To get that, so when my brother bought that Neo Geo home, the whole block was on fire.
You know what I mean? Right, yeah. Like, yo, did you get this from the arcade? Because they're like back those graphics or something else.
Come around the screen, you couldn't. Of course, Street Fighter was the king, but to play Art of Fighting and see those graphics, the arcade at your home. I mean, I could go on for days. Let me stop, but you know the deal. You know what I mean?
Well, because I think because what you said, because growing up in the '90s too, what we knew was Super Nintendo and Genesis, but the very first time we discovered a Neo Geo. Most kids don't get to discover that, like what you said, because it's gold unless you know someone. Metal Slug, like that was I was like, what the fuck? And that's when I was like, oh, Neo Geo.
You know your stuff, Lo. You know your stuff. I see.
Oh, yeah, I'm a
We
geek. I ain't gonna front you. I know some of the weirdest games out there. So like, so the thing like I wanted to talk to you about too was also games now too because like in the interview, because no one knows these games now too. Like we're about to talk about. So to actually hear when you actually said like some of these games, I'm like, yo, I need to talk about this. So, man, these games were fucked up back in the day. Leisure Suit Larry, do you remember that?
Yes, I used to play. It's actually from I think Sierra Games is the creator behind Leisure Suit Larry. I used to play that. A very pornographic adventure type game. You know,
Yeah.
what I mean?
You
Larry
run your
was
own
a
porn
freak.
company. It was like it was.
Yeah, I mean, I loved. I got into that. I used to play Leisure Suit Larry and Roger Wilco. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
What was that? The Space Quest joint. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I used to get. I was big on Sierra Games. We used to call them the point and click joints. You know what I'm saying? You just go around and observe. I think they also had like Police Quest as well, and King's Quest and stuff like that. But
Okay.
Leisure Suit Larry was my thing because I could bring friends over. And, I could show them some, like, they piece some areola on the little, 8-bit video screen and whatnot. And they, they get all excited. So, you know what I mean? Like, you're a little kid, you know what I'm saying? So you like, whoa, this is dope
This
right
is
here.
a game?
Yeah, yeah, this is a game. This is some real adult adventure. But, yeah, I played Lisa Sue Larry, Space Quest. Yeah, I was big. I was really heavy on those games. So, yeah, right when you said that name, I knew Sierra Games made that. So, I'm there, B. I'm there.
Yeah, sir. Okay, so like because like most games like now too like when people say like oh I tried BioShock now too I'm like yo did you try the one that's just the pre-successor before that called System Shock
System
and
Shock. Yeah. System Shock. Yeah, that was dope. That was a classic. I mean, Bioshock is a classic within itself. I do have to
yeah
say, video games right now, probably right now, video games, I have to say, really stepped up. I mean, I find myself playing right now probably the most between Red Dead and Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt. You
okay
know, I really am back into video games heavy because I do feel like the storytelling aspects, not so much now because I understand multiplayer makes
yeah
all the difference. But some of the story aspects now are just mind blowing, especially like in Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the best fantasy RPG games ever made, besides the Elder Scrolls.
oh okay yeah I'm still on Skyrim for PS4 but when you said like but when you said
What? You say you still on the Skyrim?
yes no
Man.
no I was like yo Skyrim that was classic it's still I still
Yeah.
play it on PS4 but what you said about like the story aspect for like a game like Red Dead like I'm playing that now too so
Yeah.
when you understand like the story of that it's like yo this is like you can't play this within a weekend like this would take like a couple
Nah,
months to get the story across.
I'm not trying to run through those kind of games. I always feel like those kind of games, you should really enjoy the world that was built. I know, like, I think Red Dead, it took, like, 5 to 7 years for that joint.
Yeah.
So I'm still finding, like, Easter eggs and nooks and crannies in there. And to me, I love Westerns. My pops was a big lover of spaghetti Western, Sergio Leone. So I grew up watching a lot of Westerns. So playing Red Dead to me, it was ill. It was dope. I love the story. John Marston, you know what I'm saying? Also, Arthur Morgan. I'm not going to get into any spoilers for people, but
Okay.
if you have time, definitely play Red Dead Redemption 2. It's very serious. It's ill. Ill Kill says it, recommends it, thumbs up. Do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're like it may take up a lot of space but it's worth it. It ain't Call of Duty.
Yeah. You know, I was gonna say, right when you said Call of Duty, my good friend, GBP, GeneralBackPain, he a master at that, man. He
shit.
gets that. When it comes to the multiplayer games, Backpain don't play. You know what I mean? So, video games within my team, within my life is always prevalent. It's always being talked about.
So when it comes to like hip hop now too, it must make it really fun because you get to vibe with your peers over games instead of just like, okay, we're just gonna email each other beats or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like you actually like get to like go in. I don't have my headset, but like actually be in a party with them and talk to them, and it's like, yo, okay, it's like yo, we just do music, but we can also have fun in the game.
Yeah, it's like the way technology has advanced, of course, to play games. I'm a big movie guy too, so to be able to build across these other platforms and still come together for music, I think that's extremely dope. I think that's something ill. I personally think just at this time, it's a beautiful time for technology and rap itself, especially for the underground. It's a beautiful time because I don't know if an artist like me could have survived back in the day. I mean, of course, I believe so. I believe in my merit and my talent. But right now, it's really, you're able to talk about a lot of things. A lot of times people want to put you in a box.
Yeah.
And I do believe one of the reasons I'm successful is because I can talk about a multitude of different things. You know what I'm saying? I can talk about whether it's video games, kick the hood shit, but then also, tap into other things that's not normal. You're not really going to hear a lot of artists, like we said, talk about Leadership Larry. You're not going to hear a lot of, drop certain references, and that's why I use to my advantage. I'm not going to lie, just a little bit.
Yeah, because like when I heard the Zelda reference, I'm like, oh, that's new. Oh, and that's hard.
Thank you.
Because like,
People who catch that reference, it always makes me feel, pretty good inside because I know they're really digging it and they're actually, paying attention and they did get a little bit. I think sometimes, people just copy my flow. They're not really hearing, but when people do hear it, I always am very appreciative of that. That goes a long way.
well, yeah, instead of just like throwing it on once, it's like, all right, that was a dope album. Like that, like I like to go back and like listen to an album because you may not catch everything the first listen to. Like you may catch like a line. Like I was like, oh, I missed that because like like the littlest things can like be on my phone, and then when you actually sit down and listen to it, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, that's what I
Look,
think of.
you're right. It is a little different sometimes because we live in an age now with technology, everything. I call a lot of music, I love the way it is right now, how music is out in abundance, but sometimes it has like a microwavable, content to it where just we drop it, we boom, we move on. It's not a lot of time to dwell on. And I know for myself, I really I like to make music in a way where I feel like you gotta digest it. And I don't expect everybody to digest it in one sitting. I would hope that I could do something good enough at least where a fan may say, you know what, let me go back to this and listen a little bit more deeper and hopefully get something more from it. That's why I like to try and make my projects where you can go back to, just like a good book. You may pick up something from it.
Or like a good game, let's say.
Or a good game, yes, sir. Or a good game. You go back and just try a different ending.
Yeah. Oh, okay. See, for y'all listening now, I do recommend going back and listening to the Big Kill because, like, man,
Thank you.
hey, we'll get into that in a minute. I don't
All
want to
right.
jump ahead. So, when you were first getting into hip hop, now, too, did you always go by Killy Shoot, or that evolve over time into like? Could you say there used to be something else?
Yeah, when I was coming up, I mean, rap has been with me probably since like I would say 12 or 13. Locally, I've done a lot of shows. I used to before go by the name of AV, the audio visual, which means I can see all, hear all.
Okay, I like
I
that.
was I was more I would say I don't want to say naive in my endeavor back then, but it was really just having fun. Being with my friends and rapping. I always could freestyle. When I started getting older and things started happening in my life, troubled events, rap became like a refuge, and
Okay.
I really started using rap as a way to express myself in a better manner. And definitely it was
Oh.
something I was around people where they would tell me like, "Yo, you should be rapping. You shouldn't be around this. You shouldn't be here." So after messing up a lot of my life, I came back to rap. And I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago, Killy Shoot came to be. Before that, prior to that, in my city and stuff, doing radio shows and stuff, I was doing certain things, but I have to honestly say my heart wasn't really in it. I think when I sat down and really thought about what I wanted to do and thought about a lot of things, it was more like a play on words. My brother used to play with the name a little bit, just like, Killy Shoot, I would say, is a verb. First of all, the name is a verb.
Okay.
Killy Shoot. You know what I mean? So to me, shooting, of course, you could take it in literal terms, of course, but the shoot really means like, Killy, go. You know what I mean? Like, go. Bust the rhyme. So I was always spitting freestyles with my friends, whether on the block, on the Ave, in the Jacks and stuff like that. And I kind of knew that I just had to take this more seriously. And plus, it just became a passion. It was something that just took over me. I can't even explain it. It just drove me to higher levels. So I can't even explain it for you.
But they say like everything happens for a reason now too. So like in a certain situation that you put yourself in, it's like maybe all that I went through led up to this moment. I like to say.
I think so. I think that when you think about your life at certain points, at first you see it as, man, this ain't nothing. But when you have retrospect, they say 2020. You look back and I think about my childhood or situations I was in. I grew up. I can honestly say I grew up poor, and I grew up in a place called Wellington in Maine South.
Okay.
I didn't know that, when you grow up poor, you don't really know you're poor because everybody else in the neighborhood is poor.
Yeah.
As I got older and realized my living situation and how I was living, I realized that it was not the norm. And, of course, we do things to change it, whether for the better or worse. And now when I look back, I can honestly say I did a lot of foolish things. And, there's always bravado in rap. You always want to talk about, like, yo, I did this and that. But a lot of times my rap, I think people sometimes overlook is I try to always twist a little message in this sometimes, you know what I mean, to take heed or, something of that nature. I always try to do something like that. But at the same time, I do understand what rap is. But I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, brother, and sometimes you don't want to remember it. But when I rap it, it's a way I can release it. I never been to therapy sessions or I had a shrink or anything like that. I never been in those situations, you know what I mean? So rap has been the biggest therapy and biggest release and biggest help in my life,
Okay, well, and it is therapeutic now too because like when you actually like write it down instead of like going like doing crime or something else and you're taking down the music, that's like the most therapeutic way that you can because like instead of talking to someone that you don't know, because like therapy ain't for everyone, so just to able to write it and get it out and it may help somebody too. That's what like I like when an artist like puts that into their music because it's like if you go through that, then somebody else may be going through that.
Yeah, no, I definitely respect that. A lot of my music, I've been, through the grace of Allah, I've been fortunate enough to resonate with certain people, and certain people could feel it on different levels, whether it's just picking up the game references or whether it's picking up the 5% teachings or whether it's just picking up little lessons or it may just be a little line of something that they take and like, you know what, Killy, my brother went through that or I've been through that and I understand what you're going through. I know what it's like to be in a cell, or I know what it's like to have to sleep in a hallway, or I know what it's like not to eat at night, or I know what it's like to feel like the world's against you. So I definitely, that always feels good, and that always goes to the heart.
Okay, yeah, and it must like too, because like when you put, so the first project that you put out, with that I actually like fully checked out was the Killing Time, and that was in 2018, yeah. Right?
I believe so, yes.
I just have it written down. I hope it's 2018. If I got it, my bad for the hardcore Killy fans out there. So when I hear like what was that track again? It was Holy Gold. It was Holy Gold and Alleyways. No, was it called Alleyways? Yeah, I believe it was called Alleyways.
There's Alleyways, Hallways. It could have been one of those, but yeah, there's a track called Alleyways. Yes.
Yeah, it was one of the ways wax too. But I was like, oh my god, yo. So how therapeutic was you to actually put that out as your first project and like actually having like the Killing Time with like that one red line going across the cover?
Well, to me, the Killing Time was it's kind of funny. I didn't really, I was just doing what I was doing, while I was, on the block. So it was kind of like I was still very raw. I was just coming off and doing this kind of album. I felt I was very proud of it. I still am. It's something that I hold dear to me. Just a different time when I was making those tracks like Alleyways and Hallways, you always hear about where people come from. There ain't really been much stories about Worcester. There ain't been much stories about Maine South. Just even saying the name Worcester, phonetically it's supposed to be Worcester, people say, but we call it Worcester. So, and just being from Massachusetts and not Boston, you know what I'm saying? I think that a lot of times everybody just thinks, oh, Massachusetts, that's Boston. No, there's a lot of other cities and there's a lot of other stories.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that for me, putting that out with just that red line going across, that red line pretty much meant like it was over. You know what I'm saying? Like here's a black album and this red line going across it. First of all, I love minimalism in art. I love that, and it kind of just was my way of like, it's done. Here it is. I'm going all out, and the response is what kept me around. You know, I think a lot of people dug it. A lot of people. I think mainly because it was just, you know, a different sound for the time. Maybe I'm not too sure of it, but it was a really good project, and I always have to say I hate using that word fans too, but I got a lot of great supporters, like a lot of great supporters that give me great messages and great feedback and keep me going. And after that album, things just slowly kept going up and going up and going up. So Alleyways, love that song because where I'm from, I spent a lot of time in alleyways. I spent a lot of time in hallways. Holy Gold, produced by my good brother, my home team brother, Onaje Jordan. See, people don't understand how far we go back. You know, we go back way far to that time. So Onaje has always been a supporter. I've been a fan of his. He's been a fan of mine. And I have nothing but respect. And plus, we're both brothers through Islam, so it just made sense. It's so easy. But yeah, Holy Gold, when I first heard the beat, I just knew it. I was like, oh, Onaje, this is
you just know when you hear it, it's like, oh yeah, that's the one.
That's the one. Definitely. I was like, oh, and also much props to Frank Grimes for Alleyway and also to Filthy Tarantino for Hallways. Every producer that I've worked with, I'm in great depth to because they help craft my sound.
Yeah.
Without the producer, there's nothing. I'm nothing without these producers. These guys have showed me a lot of faith and love. I try to show it back, but every producer I work with has been nothing but phenomenal to me. Seriously.
Yeah, well, and like I like being like I like an artist who's like grateful, like you and stuff. Like I just got these beats. You're like, no, I'm very grateful for this because we have that connection with it, and like that's what I like to tell artists now too. Is like when you have like that relationship with the producer, it just makes music that much easier and that much better when it comes out instead of just like, oh, I'm just sending beats to this guy.
It does. No, you're absolutely right. When you know, sometimes you have a great producer. If you don't have that relationship, it may not show to the average person through the work, but you definitely can feel it. You know, when a producer is really behind you and they can craft. What I always like is a producer that can. I don't like to tell a producer what to do. They're a master of their craft. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna tell a sword maker, hey, you curve that sword a little bit. I'm not gonna tell him that. You know what I mean? That's his practice. That's what he's a master at. I may have specifics that I may like or want to hear, but for a producer, I usually want a producer to craft the sound around me by knowing who I am. You know, have you listened to my music? Have you heard me a little bit? And do you know where I'm coming from? And can you craft something around that? And usually I've been fortunate where a lot of producers just always came with the great material. Always.
Well, yeah, I don't get into like some of the producers that you work with now too. So like even like coming into like the home team now situation now too, because I believe it was man, I think it was like a backpain track that I first got on put on you, Biff, and I checked out your solo stuff. So I gotta ask, like, who? So besides your Onaje, who was the first home team member, like, to ever like work with you? Like, was it like a Chuck Chan or was it like GeneralBackPain?
Well, home team was like this. Home team started with myself. The founding members are myself, Chuck Chan, GeneralBackPain, Deuce Hennessy, Prophecy. That's like the starting Prophecy. Those are the starting members. Onaje came a little after. We formed Home Team because I knew Backpain for about 5 to 6 years.
Oh wow! Okay.
We knew each other prior a little bit from rapping and stuff like that. Backpain is someone very close to me. It's my brother. Nothing but love for that guy. We always been, no matter what, whether it's rapping or not, we're always gonna talk. We talk pretty much frequently, like at least once a week. So you know what I mean. Like we always are building that. So our chemistry is a little different because you know I really confide in him a lot. He confides in me, and you know that's probably one of a very solid brother, one of the most solid brothers I know. So it was we kind of started it up. I think you know Chuck, Deuce, myself, Prophecy. When we came into this, it was just like we all admired each other and we wanted to work with each other. From there, it just kept growing. We always had a thing of home team is the hub, and we just do what we want to do. And we all understand that anything we do on an individual level only brings light to the team. And we truly care about our own brother's success. So that success of the team means more than anything. I get way more excited to see my brothers release material than myself. I mean, I look forward to, if Pain or Chuck or Onaje or Lupus Day, when they drop music, I get excited. Like, oh, my brothers, okay, what's poppin'? We get to it. Same way we're working with them. It's nothing but love. Like, it's always a great experience. So, just to let everybody know, Hometeam does consist of myself, Lupus Day, Chuck Chan, Onaje Jordan, Prophecy, GeneralBackPain, and Deuce Hennessy. I believe that's all. Of course, myself. Yes.
Well, no, because people need to know this type of things now too, instead of just like guessing now too. Like, you can actually hear it from like the founding member himself.
Thank you. Yeah. So I know it gets confused sometimes because we do so much stuff. We're always
you guys are everywhere.
We're all over the place working, but we always seem to come home. And also for the people out there, stay tuned. The Hometeam album is coming. It's just, we always working, so we're definitely gonna bring that to the fans. We got some surprises late this year and early next year as well. So definitely stay tuned.
Yeah, because I've been early on a lot of guys. Like, I got to see like the Cloth. I got to see like that feel. I got to see like Mutant Academy, and like now these guys are just taking off. So like when I hear like a Hometeam, I'm like, oh yeah, like when I seen like Back Pain's like taking off too, because I was on term on Bovine. So when I see him like get vinyl release, like, and then work with somebody like Cunts who did half and half of the Knowledge to Pirate, I should salute to my good brother Knowledge to Pirate for that Family Jewels powerful project. Y'all need to tap in with that. But like, but when I see like like an artist like who you believe in early to like do something like that, I was like, oh wow. So you know what all of them look like? Like, you even know what GeneralBackPain looks like? Cause he's got that MF Doom persona right now with me right now.
That's part of his mystique. First of all, Back Pain is, to me, I really dig what he does. You know what I mean? I think he's an incredible MC. He's, raw as fuck. He get right to business. You know what I'm saying? And when Back Pain, he's such a humble dude. He's such a appreciative dude, and someone that really is always striving for the best, and just a good. He just got a good heart. You know what I mean? He's a good dude, and to see Back Pain, with the accolades and everything, I think that's like one of the best things for me, because it's like, yo, this dude really grinds. Like, I know the other side of things where it's like, this dude grinds. He really grinds, and he deserves that. So I think it's always dope when you can see something from the alpha stages, and it progress from there. I think that's very dope. And like, every group you just spoke of, from the club, the academy, and stuff like that, I have nothing but respect for these guys, and it's always dope to see. I'm also a fan of hip hop. Let's not front. Like, I can't listen as much because I make music a lot now with others, but I have a high respect for the underground, and I have a high respect for a lot of these artists. And I definitely, I think that's why I got put on to you actually through the Bovine interview with that you did.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's like I got put on to a lot of you guys after that.
Yeah, I got put on to you as well. I was like, well, okay, let me start looking at people some of your interviews, and I had some laughs, and
I tell you.
So I got put into you as well. I mean, through Back Pain. So it's like, it's kind of like, even exchange, you know what I'm saying?
Well, what also like, kind of makes this like full circle now too is like, because I found an artist during my season 2 era, and then later on at like season 3, he's like, you want to be part of this movie? And I'm like, really? I'm a fan. I'm a fan of you. So this is where it gets like all kind of full circle between like how we connect. So like, during my season 3 era, I did like the Dat Feeling season premiere week. So it started with Hello Tomorrow, E. Smitty, Wizards Beast, and DJ 110. So Hello Tomorrow is a group consisting of Mark Sarks and Tone Beatz. So when I seen like you have an album with like Tone Beatz, I'm like, so this is like, this is extended family right here. So wow. When I seen that, I was like, man, this is gonna be a great conversation. So like before, so that's what like you said, like I've been early on a lot of these movements early, so that's how I know like you guys are gonna do something great now too. Cause like, man, I don't mean to brag, but like I seen like like what you said from the beginning stages to like where to go, and it's like, damn. So before. Hey, I just gotta say it like it is. So what I also like about like Hometeam now too is like the chemistry that you and Back Pain have now too. So before we get into the big kill, what came first, Pain Kill or the big kill?
Big Kill came first, then Painkiller came.
Okay, so I won't get ahead of myself. So we'll jump into the Big Kill now too, because I believe like that's one of your most personal albums. Like besides, yeah, they're one of your most personal albums. So when I hear like a track like Fish and Grits, like that started out like you're gonna love this now. When I heard that intro, I'm like, this should have been in a video game. This should have been in like Five Nights at Freddy's or like Until Dawn or something like that. Mind you, yeah, I'm about to play that for the first time tonight now too. So.
All right.
So I may regret saying that, but yo, from what I seen, looks scary.
No, it's cool. I'm with you. Come on, man, I'm with you.
But on eShow, I was like, 10 minutes. All right, yeah, we'll try that out. But like when I hear like a track like that, I'm like, so you really know like an intro to grab people's attention now too, as opposed to like, I'm just gonna spit like something really good over. Like this was like a well thought out intro. I like to put.
I'm glad. First of all, thank you. I'm glad it came across like that. I think I was just talking some shit. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
You know what I mean? I mean, personally, I don't really think too much into that kind of. It's just like that's probably like the most real Killy that you're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just me. You know what I'm saying? So like that's like, you know, when I'm feeling like, you know, I don't want to say like, you know, we all very competitive in rap.
Yeah.
And like we against the wall, it's like, you know, we ain't playing. You know, this is what it is. Boom, boom. You know. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't remember verbatim. You know what I'm saying? But I know that, you know, I probably had a sip of E&J, and I probably went up in there and just, you know, said boom, 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 and just let it loose. So, you know, Fish and Grits, that track gets a lot of attention, and yeah, it's probably one of my favorite tracks too. That, you know, me and Pain on that track, I feel like the chemistry was seamless. You know what I mean? Like the way it just came across, it was very organic too. When I work with me and GBP work together, it's never a lot of thinking. I think we know each other.
It's the chemistry that does the work.
Yeah, we just get in there, we just do our thing. Like I can hear maybe what he's spitting, or I hear what I'm spitting. And we just go off each other. It's never too commanding or anything.
Yeah, because you can tell when it's like that when the finished product comes out.
Yes, it's just like, okay, we did it, we get it, boom, boom, and we kind of just go from there. We never really dwell too much. I think that, you know, we'll compliment each other a lot. I think we're more into each other's styles more. So it's kind of like, you know, he's very different from what I do. I'm different from what he does. And I think it's very complimentary where it's kind of like, yo, you said that? You said that? So it's always like a fun, like, I'm like, yo, G, you bugging. You said that? And it's like, you know, we go back and forth. So, I mean, it's always a fun experience too. Because, you know, the chemistry is always there. It's always a good time. It's like, you about to, you know, play a pickup game with your brother. It's always a fun experience.
And like what I like about this album now too is like, cause like you got personal on this album now to your other projects now too. Like, did you know going into this project that you were gonna open up so much, or just like it just like what you said before, it was like therapeutic for you, like getting some of the stuff out?
On the Big Kill?
Yes, sir.
I mean, the personal side just comes out. You know what I'm saying? I think that, you know, coming from the Killing time and proceeding to make more albums, you know, I felt like it's just opening a book more of Killy. Like, I just open up more of myself. I don't, sometimes it's not intended to be that way. I think it's just that when I think back, if I'm writing or doing certain things, I kind of hear and I'm like, you know what? Let me just get this. And sometimes the beat would just talk to me in a certain way where I can have a total flashback. You know, I have a type of memory where I can, you know, very descriptive type of memory where I can remember certain things, and it usually just bleeds onto the paper. And sometimes it would just start with a couple of lines, and by the time I know it, I got a whole track. And now I sit there and I will question myself of, do I want to put this out? Do I want people to know this? But the more I've seen that I reveal more of Killy, people really dig it. So,
yeah.
You know, I think it's something that I try not to, like, you know, it's not purposeful, but it is just part of who I am now. I guess part of the makeup of Killy Shoot, you know.
Well, it's like what you said, and it's who you are. So like, the more that you are, people are gonna gravitate to it, because like, if you put on the persona, it's like, okay, well, where's you?
Yeah, that kind of comes up. I know that for myself. Like, a lot of people that you know may dig my music or listen to my music or even be a fan, if you will. I think it's like, you know, a mix of a lot of different things that go into it. You know, I think that they generally do fuck with me to an extent. So I feel like that kind of plays a part. And, you know, whether they think it's cool personality or they think like, yo, I kind of dig this, or I take little pieces from here, or he seemed like a cool dude, or shit, he may seem like an asshole, but I like his music. Well, be that what it may, whatever it is, I think it just gravitates a little bit more. And the deeper I get into that, as I see with these projects going deeper and deeper, I just see that a lot more gravity comes from that. So, it's definitely dope, but it's not something that I think I intentionally started to go into with a purposeful aspect. You know what I'm saying?
So what I like about now after this album now too is because like you have like it's what you said earlier in the interview about the simplicity and the art. So I'm assuming like it's like the art covers, right? Because the first two covers, it's you just sitting down on a washing machine and then the doors right there. But when you get an album like Heavy Math, like even the covers, like it grabs your attention now too. It's like,
oh man.
Yeah, so I was gonna get into this now too. I was like, let's talk about like the Heavy Math and like how this came together and how long it actually took you guys to put this together.
I mean, Heavy Math, man, that's a
for the people
project.
seeing now too. Don't worry, when the other version comes out, y'all can see the cover right there. So y'all can see the cover right there. So y'all know what we're talking about.
Thank you. I mean, Heavy Math for me, Onaje. We've been trying, me and Onaje, I was, at one point, I'm always very busy. There's always music on the table, whether features or doing something. And, Onaje we always wanted to build something. But I knew working with Onaje would have to be at a high level. It would have to be something that I take my time with stories and a lot of different aspects. And I think that slowly we just started sending me beats. The thing about Onaje, he had that all in his dome, the way, from the soundscape of it. He had the whole soundscape, how it was going to be from track one all the way to the end. He let me have free reign of what I wanted to speak across on it. Of course, as the MC, like I give him free reign as the producer.
Yeah.
So the soundscape, I got to give truly to him. He had that. Also, big ups to Rob from Rap Seminar who did that artwork.
Oh, she looked throughout.
Yeah, it was when I seen it, I was like, and plus, just me and Onaje, both being from Islam faith, and to have something like that. I felt like Heavy Math, weighs on heavy scales, and to have that kind of scale showing, and right when you see it, I felt like it was something powerful, and it was, it did take a while. I mean, it took
Okay. That's why it's so cohesive. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, it took a little while. I mean, it wasn't something that was like really difficult, the process, but it was something that I did take my time with. I mean, like certain tracks like Arms Merchant and stuff like that have a story that consists all the way through. It's going to be something that, I have to kind of, really make sure the cohesiveness of the story follows through from the beginning to the end. So some tracks I did have to really take some time with, but I mean, that's all part of the fun. For me, at least, that's part of the fun, being cohesive in my endeavor,
I like that now too, because like having like free range as an artist and producer now too. I think what made me like actually tap into Onaje, and like you could have the most wildest Twitter name, and I'm gonna check your music out now for the people listening out too. Onaje had this one Twitter. It was 95 Reza. I'm like,
95 Reza.
I'm like, I'm gonna check your stuff out. I'm not 95 Reza. I'm not gonna. But when I heard that, I was like, okay. Yeah. I was like, you got that.
Onaje, Onaje, I have so much love for Onaje for what he did for me for Heavy Math. I was coming off a time where this was like the first full length album, and we were getting serious. And also, much respect to Respect Through Records for putting out the physicals of the CD. Just the ovation for it. I mean, I didn't expect, to tell you the truth. I kind of like, okay, we do this, boom, boom, we're gonna move on. We do something else, and people just really dug it more than I thought. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't expect.
I've seen a lot of blogs pick it up now too. I'm like, wow, I've been seeing this album pop up a lot.
Thank you. I didn't expect that at all. I kind of, I always look at myself. I know people always like, hey, you should be this and that. I'm very happy where I'm at. I never really consider my music for mass consumption. You know what I mean? If it happens, it happens. But I make music because I love the art. I truly love what I do. I'm not stopping. I'm going to continue as long as I want to. We all feel as artists we should be at certain levels, but I'm truly content. I'm just grateful for everything I have because I feel like I shouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm always very grateful to be doing this and the people that, fuck with it and rock with it. But Onaje gave me a solid album. I never will call and say myself what a classic is. I don't do that. I let people determine that. But
okay,
I also
I like that.
say, he gave me something that was very dear to me and special. And something that I could, really be proud of. I will say that.
Oh yeah, 100% now too. Like, cause like man, like certain projects like that, like they only come around like once in a blue moon now too. Because like if you take your time with something like that, that's why I think that's why it got the reception that it did, and it still does now too. Because like they took their time on it, so obviously when they hear it, it's like, oh, there's thought into this instead of just like song here, song here, song here,
Yeah, yeah.
feature here, feature here.
I think people do get that, and I think like because of course when you first doing, if you're just an artist coming into the scene, you're trying to do as much as possible.
Yeah.
I think by the time I got to Heavy Math, I established who my fans were and what my sound kind of was.
I like that.
So it was just easy for me to bring them along the journey and give them, here's some top shelf of what you can get from Killy, and it just worked out very well. A lot of album, the way it sounds, I love it. I just think Onaje did great. I really got to stretch my legs on a lot of stuff, and I think that was probably the first time people heard, just more in-depth Killy, excuse me. I think that I've always been kind of like, in depth a little bit, but I got to really stretch my legs on that album. I felt really comfortable over them beats and really was able to go deep in certain areas that I wanted to.
Oh wow, that's very interesting to hear you say that now too. Do you think it was because like it was just one producer handling the production?
I think a little bit with that, and it was definitely the relationship.
Yeah.
Onaje, you got someone that believes in you so much and really, really, respects you as an artist. It's just so much easier. He really respects what I do. Like, yo, Killy, go kill that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not gonna let my brother down. And saying that, I think that with him, with Onaje, it was he had a lot of respect in me, and I had a lot of respect in him. And I think at the time it was just I believe in Onaje heavy. He believes in me heavy, and when that comes across, it comes together. It just takes off right there. It just goes to a high level.
Man, it's good to hear like that you guys have that relationship now too. Shout out to Onaje, because man, if you didn't have that Twitter name, I probably never checked you out. So yeah, that Twitter name, yeah, that made me a fan right there. I ain't gonna lie. So it's like, yeah, you were in that 95 Grizzly.
I do.
And so I gotta ask now too, because you're not afraid to rap along with your peers now too. So I've been early, like I checked out like a lot of these guys now too, and like what I like now is like the lane that the Renaissance is in right now too. Like a lot of their artists show love to one another, even collab. So when you collaborate with like a Dante, or like shout out to my guy, I gotta get this together. I've been putting this off for a while with MuggzOnDrugz. Man, yeah. I was like that's my favorite joint off Heavy Math is Black Cloud. But like, how do you choose like who you want to have on a project like this?
Wow, I mean, besides just organic, a lot of times it's respect. What you have respect. Most of the artists I work with, I got a lot of respect for. You know what I mean? I think it's reciprocated. I've done a lot of features with people, and usually it's just like, hey, I'm getting down with something. Dante, dope MC. I really respect him a lot. Got a lot of love for that brother. MuggzOnDrugz too. I felt like it just worked out. In the middle of a project, doing something, we reach out. Hey, it's good. I believe. Through Onaje, it was through Dante, and we just built from there. I believe Muggs, we started building. I built a rapport, so it was not really too difficult. I feel like I know it sounds cliche, but real respect, real. Real respect, real. You can tell what's real and what it is. I got a lot of love for these cats, so I got a lot of respect. So I think they know it's genuine. So when it's time to get busy, they know what I do and I know what they do, and again, I have to thank every feature on the album because they really helped the project, and without them, the album wouldn't be what it is. Same thing without the production. So those features mean a lot to me, and I never sleep on that. I never take that for granted. Never. So Dante, dope MC, love what he does. Muggs, love what he does. I love to see what they do, and for them to get down with me, it was just really dope, and I always appreciate them cats.
See, and like that's what I like about it, because the features, like it wasn't like it didn't seem like the features were like, all right, we're gonna get this guy on. Like these features really seem like they were thought out now too. Because when I seen like MuggzOnDrugz, I was like, oh, okay, so this was a thought out project. It wasn't like I'm just gonna put him on it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand the environment we're in, and I don't knock anybody for it. I think that's dope. You know, to always, I love camaraderie on albums anyways.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Because you never know what could sound good together.
Exactly. However it may form up, I think it's dope. I think for myself, I just have like an old school mentality. I'm like that.
No, I understand that.
Where I kind of want to I want you to hear me. I want you to absorb me. Get my style when I make an album. I mean, and that's my thing too. I kind of make albums in the '90s tradition, like a mid-'90s kind of feel, where it's like we're gonna have these features a certain way. We're gonna have this, and the artist is gonna be a certain way. So, you know, I'm just from that. You know, my heart is always kind of in that era. So when I'm making music, I try to make it in that format. I mean, I studied guys like you know, BDP, KRS-One. You know, I studied Nas. I studied Slick Rick. Like I listened to these albums. I mean, in full entirety for years, and knew what it took to make certain things together and put it together. So I just I feel like I'm just more trying to, you know, be in that league of extraordinary gentlemen, those kind of cats. That's what I really look to. So, you know, the features, they always have to be organic. I have to have a good feeling about it and actually definitely respect the artist. And that's like when I work with another artist I work with, I got a lot of respect for is Supreme Cerebral.
Okay, I don't know. Okay.
We got a lot of respect for each other, and that's when I was coming into this game, he showed me nothing but love. Really looked out for a brother, and I got a lot of respect for that man. He really looked out for me, and you know, always was good. Did with some counsel, advice, and you know, put me on the tracks and stuff. So I never forget those things.
Man, see, and it's like that's what makes like the relationships that much stronger when you're appreciative now too, and like I like what you said now too about camaraderie on a track now too. Like one of the collab albums that kind of came out of nowhere because that was like, and it actually turned out to be a pretty dope album now too. And I still fuck with that album now too. Classic Villains. Yo, that like I was like all hair YT and GeneralBackPain on the full album. So yo, when I heard this, I was like, man. So when I got to your feature on there, Cash Detroit, I was like, damn, yo, like the Dump Life and Hometeam, that would like see like I like camaraderie on the track. So if you guys were to do like a 4-man group album, like all hair YT, Back Pain, Left Lane, Dion, and you're that would be some shit right there. Cause that Castor Troy, that ooh, I like love that shit.
Thank you. I have a lot of respect for them cats. YT, Left Lane, I have a lot of respect for them. I was happy they reached out to me to get down. You know, even though Back Pain is my brother, you know, for YT and both of them to agree, because we all know how music is. So
yeah,
for them to reach out to me, I was like, yo, let's get busy. You know, I dig YT. YT, that's my man. You know, he you know, I definitely dig YT. I definitely did, you know, Pants my brother. So to get down that track, you know, I knew it was time. But yeah, I definitely agree. I think, you know, it would sound something beautiful.
Yes,
I got nothing but respect for the cats. Nothing but respect for them cats.
And y'all have both albums of Tone Beatz. That's what I love about it too.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I think it was funny because Tone, you know, when I first started building with Tone, it was like I knew he worked with YT, and they did some great work.
Oh yes.
And I kind of had some. I knew what I was gonna do with him. It was gonna be a little different. So I was kind of like, I want to see how Tone could approach. And Tone is just a great producer. I can't even say enough about Tone. Tone's just a consummate professional. You know what I mean? Like he's just a cool dude, and I'm sure you're gonna touch on that a bit, but he gave me Violent Delights. I mean,
oh yeah, man, and like that's like the most recent release now too with that. Because what I like about that album now too is like Tone Beatz is like he works with a lot of people that are on the rise, and like he done that with Mark. When Mark went by Defocus, like way back in like '09, they have a so I advise y'all to go check out Mark Sucks. Maybe see that collab happen now too, because when I see like Tone work with artists in today's lane now too, and be so early on them, I'm like, oh, you get it, like you get this like this renaissance we're in, and so who put you on to Tone Beatz?
So I knew about Tone Beatz from the Spoils of Babylon project with YT.
Oh wow.
You know, I heard his production, and then Tone reached out to me. We did me and Backpain did Painkiller, and there was a track I believe called Arm and Hammer, and I guess he really liked that track, and he reached out. He was like, "Yo, you got a nice flow." I was like, "Yo, you do your definite thing with the beats," it was so easy. Like it wasn't even like Tone was just like, I got these beats, and he sent them through, and like, you know, at that time I finished off the heavy math.
Yeah.
And I was reading a lot of sci-fi stuff, and I was watching a lot of sci-fi movies, and you know, reading a lot of cyberpunk, dystopian type stuff,
Okay.
and I was kind of ready to I was like, oh word, he said the beats, and they kind of sounded like something I could do, and I was in the mood to do a different kind of project that was more close to, you know, Violent Delights is close to my heart because it's all the things I kind of love. So to be able to mix those things in a gumbo and, you know, mix that up, Tone just came through so good with it. Like, you know, it's very complimentary. I love what he does with his beats, and he gave me a lot of room. Like, hey man, you do what you gotta do. I love that when a producer gives me room to do what I gotta do. So it just came out the way it was. But Tone, nothing but love for Tone. And yes, we are working. We're working on another project in the future as well, because I found the lights. We gotta go back in and, you know, experiment more in this kind of lane. You know what I mean? So big up to Tone. Much love, Tone, always.
And big up to Tone. You know, like the versatility on that project from like the track 360, like. So I was like, man, like, and that's what I like about an artist now too, who's like just sticks to one flow. Like, you're an artist who can deliver multiple flows and shows the versatility. I'm like, that's what I like about an artist.
Oh, thank you. You know, Tone Beatz. You know, I think, you know, just from that era where, you know, flow and MCing. I understand the game has changed and this stuff, but I'm just, you know, a naturalist to an extent, and you know, I think that's why certain cats truly dig my style, because it may be reminiscent to something. I get a lot of commentary of, like, you know, certain cats from the past, which is always humbling, whether it's like, you know, Nas or Kane or Rock, you know, the R, or, you know, just that era. That always makes me feel good, because those are the guys that I studied for years and emulated for years and looked up to. You know, those are the gods. You know, this is before the media. This is when you've seen cats in magazines and videos, you know, and the limousines, and you're like, wow, you know what I mean? I had these guys posters all over my wall, you know what I mean? Public Enemy, you know, there's so much a mixture, you know, Mobb Deep, so like all these things come across into you, so that's always dope to kind of get related back to that anyway. That's like some of the best type of compliments, you know what I mean? Just to be in the room with them kind of cats, you know what I mean? That's crazy to me, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
And the internet is like a gift and a curse now too, because like there's some shit on the internet that should be on the internet, but you can also use the internet to your advantage now too.
Yes. It is a blessing and a curse. I mean, the blessing is that we're able to connect with so many people. For someone like me, it's the ultimate advantage. You know what I mean? Like, I understand how this tool works at a level, and to market myself. So definitely, it's an advantage. It's almost like, you know, being on the street in '95. You know, it's like you're showing out your trunk. Now everything's in a digital format. You got, you know, it's very instant now, very instant. So, you know, you got to put a little bit more creativity behind it.
Yeah.
And I always think about, you know, when a project comes out, how I want to present it. And I'm always, I'm just very aware. I try to just use this medium to the much as possible. So it is a blessing and a curse. I mean, it is a blessing, more so a blessing. Sometimes a curse a little bit, but definitely a blessing, especially in this day and age, and of course with COVID-19. I mean,
so like when you can make an album like These Violent Designs now, how do you pick the name and a cover like that?
All right, so These Violent Delights is a quote, I believe, from Shakespeare. These violent delights will have violent ends. It's also a quote from Anthony Hopkins in a show called Westworld. And
I heard some crazy shit about Westworld.
Yeah, Westworld's a crazy sci-fi show, and what it basically means is this: you know, I make a lot of violent music. Let's cut the bullshit. I make a lot of wild, violent shit. A lot of people in my genre, in my community, make this shit.
That's how it is. That's how it is in underground songs, yes.
And it's dope. We love that. You know what I mean? We take for what it is. And These Violent Delights, just this name itself, These Violent Delights. We're delighted by the violence. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna give this to you, These Violent Delights. That's why I call it These Violent Delights, because it is delightful. It is very violent. So, you know what I mean? You go, but
hence, you know, Top Villain, that goes off on that.
You know what I'm saying? And then it goes to another level when you complete it, like These Violent Delights. On the track itself, These Violent Delights with GeneralBackPain, the intro says, you know, these violent delights will have violent ends. So too much indulgence of the violence can only lead to a violent end.
See, I wasn't in Shakespeare like that, so I learned something. So I was just curious. I was like, the violent delights. I'm like, I just asked the man instead of guessing. I just asked him.
But you keep it real. You keep it real, though. I respect that, Lo. I respect that, Lo.
Hey, that's how it should be, though, in this day and age now, too. Because you see like a lot of things out there. It's like, man, just say like how it is.
Exactly. Thank you. I love that you ask it straight up, like, yo. I mean, come on. I like that because people think or assume something.
Yeah.
I prefer to ask you just straight up, like, yo, what is that? So, I definitely appreciate that as well. And I think just the name of itself, I kind of like the way it sounded. You know what I mean? It sounded a little funny, like these violent delights. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's a good ring to it, though. I like it, though.
Thank you. And the cover artwork, I made, I did all the artwork for that.
Okay. Okay.
All the trailers and videos I did myself. That was really a hands-on project for me, really hands-on. And it was something to help establish like our Hometeam records that we're trying to do now and build our own little thing. So I was trying, that's definitely something I was pushing and taking more control in that aspect. The art actually comes from, that is Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Okay.
That's a scene that I kind of cut and did some work with, and I'll put it together.
I see it now. Okay.
As you see the heads on the wall, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, I'm hunting. But at the same time, it's also the many different faces or facets of what you're going to experience in this album as well.
When you say that, I can't. I see after Anthony Hopkins in that cover now, too. I never caught that until you said that. That's always going to be in my head now, too.
Like, that's pitiful. You know what I mean? So a lot of people don't know that. I like doing wild shit like that. So people are like, what? And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, man, this looks so familiar. When someone actually tells you, it's like, oh, okay, I see it now.
And now you can't stop seeing it.
Yeah, as y'all can see right there now too. So did you have more than 8 tracks that you wanted to put on this, and then it just didn't feel right, or did you guys finish the 8? It's I think
we had maybe 9 or 10, I believe.
Because I'm a huge fan of hearing what happens to the leftover tracks. Are you gonna use them, or they just didn't fit the project?
I think they definitely will. I mean, the Violent Delights. I can't really say much, but there's more to come from the Violent Delights.
Okay.
By the end of this year, so it's not just I'm just gonna say, enjoy with digital. There'll be more from the Violent Delights as well. That's all I'm gonna say at this point. But I will say there was about maybe 9 or 10, I believe. And when I was making this album, you start, slicing down and getting picky of what I wanted to, get across. And I think for myself, just the cohesiveness of everything, I didn't really want to go back into a full-length album right after Heavy Math. And this is more of this is more like a special piece to me. This is more like I didn't know the reception because I was like, I'm going to be mixing some god body, sci-fi, street shit. This is going to be a plethora of different kind of things right here. So I didn't know if everybody could keep up. I definitely knew it was going to be some wild shit. I mean, when you got tracks like 360 or, 2410,
yeah.
Or, you got robots fighting and you got all this stuff. Then you got tracks about, knowledge, wisdom, and you got other tracks just pure hip hop, So it was I meant for it to be in a certain format, and some tracks just didn't really fit sonically and with the verses to this format that I wanted. But those tracks, people will definitely play those in the future. They will.
Okay, see, that's good to hear, but because instead it's I'm gonna put everything that I got from this producer on the album instead of just we're gonna see what fits. Because sometimes when an artist gets with a producer, I gotta put everything on there. It's no, it's okay to leave some stuff off.
I mean, sometimes I can definitely understand how that may feel. I think with Tone, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Tone sent, we had about 10, but everything Tone sent, I felt was perfect for what
he knows the artist that he wants to wear. Yeah, he knows he's this will fit him.
He let me from the beginning to top Illmatic, he let me just flow. He let me I like how Tone really tried to accentuate, my flow on his production. So I was really happy, with certain, the boom bap, the drumless stuff. I was really, really surprised that he understood so much of what I wanted to do. and he gave me that free reign. So it was definitely a dope experience, and there was nothing really off the shelf. Everything, just to say this, pretty much everything Tone sent me was fire. It just,
I believe that. I believe that.
It wasn't like going through packs and packs. No, it was like here's one. Every time he sent one, my pen started bleeding on the paper. So it was very easy process, and I was really glad to make him happy with it. Like that, like I always want to make the producer happy with it.
Oh yeah. Well, I think like because like when you interview like enough producers now too, and like you get to see them work with an artist, it's like, well, they obviously listen to your music and like, I got this for him. I got this for him. Like a certain producer, I like to say a certain producers, they got super ears. They can hear it like them other than the average listener. So I bet you Tone probably heard the big kill and was like, oh, I got this for him. I got this for him because like Tone, he knows what he wants.
I definitely would say it seemed like that because he came right to the table, and I love that. You know, not all producers can do that. Unfortunately, he came to the table. He had the science; it was correct, and we got right to it. And we did Violent Delights, and the rest is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Even like with like this environment now too, I noticed that you like to work that you're starting to work with one producer with one project now too, like Onaje with Heavy Math, Tone for these Violent Delights. And you have one upcoming of Raz Beats, I believe now too, with another producer. He there's one like a legendary producer who I'm about to say. He'll go and work with like the most underground artist, and not care about their status or anything like that. So, and he's a very humble guy now too. So shout out to my guy Buck Wild now too, because he really understands like how like an artist is supposed to sound. Like we watch him do an album with like a Flea Lord, and he'll get like a Flea Lord sound, or like he'll go work with like an Al Divino. So like when I hear like a Killy Shoot, I'm like, so when's the Killy Shoot Buck Wild album coming?
Wow. I have so much respect for. I know the history of all this stuff, so I have so much respect for Buck. I have so much respect for DITC. You know what I mean? That's like those cats. They at that high table. You know what I'm saying? And to see Buck, the hip hop academy. Definitely like, yo, that's gonna be crazy. That would be wild. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just very, I'm very humbled that a lot of people are starting to tune into my music. People in the industry are starting to listen and respect me. I think, just when cats see me build the kind of, like I said, real can recognize real. And to see Buck Wild, working with these kind of cats, it does make me like, wow, this is really dope, man. It really makes you like, that'll be something really dope to embark on. Shout out to all those cats. Also, I know he did some work with my man Rashid Chappelle.
Oh yes, sir. That just came out my bag, Rashid Chappelle. Yes, sir.
So I definitely love what he's doing. Like I always say, I'm very content in what I'm doing. I have nothing but respect for the producers I work with. I personally think they're phenomenal. But yeah, definitely when I see cats like Buck Wild, like veterans who are coming back to the soil,
like Muggs.
Yes, Muggs is that's crazy. To even be like, I remember when I first got on Muggs' show, I was like, wow, this is crazy to be being played on his show.
Soul Assassin, yes sir.
Yeah, cats that I looked up to and cats that I really appreciate, and for them to have your music or be around your music or to have your music played at these certain days, it's still crazy to me. I try to just be like, all right, it's cool, but it always gets you a certain way, especially when you know the history and we've been close. And, like I was the cat, like, yeah, this is what it is. So to actually be here now in this underground and to be, able to do this is definitely dope. So when I see cats like Buck Wild do that, it just gives me a lot of inspiration. It makes me like, yo, I'm definitely on the right path. I'm in the right field. I'm right there. This is dope. And I mean, for myself, of course, self-preservation is the key. We always want to grow and stuff like that. It's also about hip-hop itself and just the movement. Like, I look at the underground like we're in a good place right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, great. This is I don't like saying it, but from a lot of people, blogs, interviewers, and media, it's like the new golden era. And I do believe this is the new golden era. I'm just happy to play my part. Like, yo, let me just sit in the corner. I'll just do my Killy Shoot thing. Blase, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just happy to be a part of it. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the people next to me. I think, like, it's just really dope. That's why when I see a lot of, like, beef and, crazy stuff like that, I kind of be like, yo, we all here. Like, we good. Yeah, we finally did it. Like, we all here. So, you know, it is dope. I know rap's competitive, but yeah, you're right. Definitely, I would definitely buck wild, man. That'd be crazy, man.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
that'd be wild, man. That'd be wild.
I like how you said that now too about like this is like it's like coming up the golden age now too because in high school all I had like not to knock it like this was my death row because I never got to experience death row as it was like shady aftermath so that's what we grew up on so as we grow older and like we get to like I believe the change for like the underground that waves really started to take off was 2015 2016 like around that era and that's when it really started to build up that momentum to where it is now too because within the last like 5 years now too it's like damn these gritty beats and hard lyrics I'm like this is what the 90s was like.
Yeah. To someone that lived it, I will say it's a renaissance. It's crazy that the grind that it's not. A lot of people sometimes think this is a whole new thing. It's not really. It's more of a hybrid of something, and it's very dope because it carried on.
Yeah, it didn't die out. It survived, and it's still and it's strong as ever.
Because I would say probably circa 2000 and stuff for artists like me, I don't know if I could survive in this environment for the rap I do. There was a point where I felt like real rap was truly dying.
Yeah.
And every format, whether it was mainstream or underground. And right now, the underground is so strong. Like the gap between mainstream and underground is so humongous now. And I personally believe the underground. There's so much great artists. There's so much, if you came up if you know anything about the golden era, even if you didn't live the golden era, if you didn't live that era of the 90s.
Oh, I will go back and do that homework, though. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, definitely got to go back because you probably think a lot of these guys are, making the wheel right now, but it's already being invented.
Yeah.
But the good thing I have to say is that it's not an imitation, it's a throwback with extension to it. I feel like a lot of cats are picking off that baton and running with it.
I like that.
I don't think it's like, oh, they just taking that. Nah, we're not doing that. It's a little different. I mean, it's updated. You know what I mean? It's more to
carrying the torch forward.
Exactly. To also make you say, like, yo, you may want to go check that. You might want to see that. Like, I know for myself, if you listen to me, if you never listen to like Rick or Nas or Cool G Rap or Prodigy, you know what I'm just saying, Chuck D, whatever like that, KRS, I feel like maybe this will help you want to listen to them, you know what I mean? Because these are the dudes that inspired me. And hopefully it leads to you wanting to dig more, like, let me go further and further in this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not of course I feel like I'm the architect of my style, but I'm not the architect of this genre. I'm just playing the small part. I'm happy to play that small part.
I like how you said that now too. It's like it's like a continuation now too because like man, when I got into Woo, the very first Woo was like only built for Cuban links, and I found that around 2005. So when I heard that only built for Cuban links, I went and got everything by Woo. I'm like all the shit from like '93 to like where it was now. So when I'm doing the history on it as a kid now too, and when I see like Griselda like doing what they do, I'm like, so this is what the Woo was doing in the '90s.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. For me being part of that, I remember like yesterday getting the purple tape, the cassette.
Yeah, like yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Wu-Tang were the gods. You know what I mean? They always will be the gods. You know what I mean? Those are they reign supreme to me because for artists like myself who mixes 5% God body themes and street rap, those dudes are the architect of that. They're the ones who really made cats like me able to survive in this climate right now. Also cats like Griselda. I feel like Griselda definitely carried on from that and brought the griminess to I would say to a high level on the underground.
Yeah.
And also, it also opened doors for a lot of cats as well to proceed with music. You know what I mean? Because you want to listen to more. Like, okay, if I'm going down this rabbit hole, I got this.
We need more of that.
Yeah, also the fans want more. They want to grip more. You look back like you would have like Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, Nas, AZ. You
Clip.
You have a lot to go from, and I feel like now in the underground it's getting to that. But
like Hometeam, the cloth, that feeling, Mutant Academy.
Right. People seem to really gravitate towards that, and I feel like to be a part of that is very special. It's still surreal to me though. Like I really don't. I can't explain it. It's still surreal.
No, I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still to me like, wow. Maybe because I love hip hop so much. I know a lot, and this is no disrespect to nobody. I know a lot of cats just like, yo, I just jump into this and I'm nice and I do what I do. Nah, man. Like, this is my life. This has been the soundtrack to my life.
I feel you. Yeah, I feel you on that. It's just something that's always been a part. It's like, man, this is life. Like,
always.
That's why when he says that hip hop's a way of life, I'm like, dude, that's why it's called a culture.
Yeah. I think sometimes people get that confused. They look at it like, okay, you know, this and that. I think, you know, that's the beautiful thing about rap, though, too, where an artist like myself can have a space and still survive. I feel like there's room for so much right now, and it's at a very good level. And like I said, I'll say it like 50 times if I have to. You know what I mean? Through the grace of Allah, I'm just blessed, you know what I mean, to be doing what I'm doing. Have people really digging the music. I'll tell you the truth. I didn't think motherfuckers understand what the fuck I was even talking about half the time. So when people are quoting my lyrics or, you know, writing it on Twitter, or you got people like doing graffiti in my name or doing art for me in my face or something like that, I'll be tripping like, yo, really? Like
you got that? Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I came from the block. Like, you know, I came from, you know, Maine South. This is crazy. So it's always dope. You know what I mean? I'm always appreciative. I think because done so much, been through so much that you just like, oh, word, this is dope. I'm doing what I love to do. I'm perfectly content with it, with my brothers that I love being around. So it's real dope.
And it's great to see, like, you know, like where you're gonna go after. Because when you see, like, you know, like certain like outlets pick you up now too, it's like, man, like. It's like what you said now too about like the drive and like being inspired. It's like, man, like I remember there was a time in music where you could only have one shot of your debut album. Now you can have like so many shots.
Nah, you're actually right. The times have changed because I do remember that era as well. So to see like, you know, I think every artist always feels like it's a slow burn. Every artist feels like, yo, I'm fucking hot. Respect me fucking now. You know what I mean? I understand how humans work. You know, I understand how people work. I understand. Right now, you know, a lot of times you can only drop knowledge at a certain level. They may not be able to digest that. You know what I mean? You can't get mad at someone if they don't like what you do. That's perfectly fine. That's totally fine. Don't listen to it. You have a choice. You have a choice in everything you do in life.
It's not like it's being forced how it was because on the radio. I remember like kids they won't know their feeling, and you relate to this too. I remember because this was the shady aftermath era, so we didn't have the internet like how it was. Man, I used to have to wait in front of my TV to watch a Lloyd Banks fucking video, man. Like, it was retarded back then, man. So.
You know what it feels. I remember sitting back watching your TV at Rap City, hoping, you know, your video would come around. Just hoping like, oh man, we didn't have the access to artists we have today. Like, there would be no way I could have like a sidebar with like, you know, Buckshot back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, the whole boot camp. You know what I mean? Now you're able to where, you know, you may wake up, you put out some music, and you may have, you know, artist that you looked up to, whatever, he likes your stuff.
Yeah, that's like, whoa.
The world becomes a little smaller now. So, you know what I mean? Definitely, that's always crazy. Like, yo, word? That's real. So, we give more access. Sometimes I think, like I said, that's the blessing and the curse of it. Because even myself, I don't like to be too deep on the artists that I have a lot of respect for.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to know too much of their life. I really don't.
Oh, yeah, and I get that.
That little mystique is what I like. I like always, the 90s artists and 80s had that little bit of mystique to them.
Yeah.
And a lot of times now, you know...
It's a rarity.
I'm sorry, what's up?
It's a rarity for that.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of your artists nowadays, you get to see them full-fledged in their feelings or how they feel, which is dope sometimes because it makes them more tangible.
Yeah.
But on the other end, it kind of takes away a little bit of the mystique to it as well. But I think that's a double-edged sword. It can cut both ways. It can benefit both ways. It goes both ways, you know. So I can't say one's bad or one's good. It's just the way that the nature of the game right now.
Cause like, man, if Quasimodo was like actual, not Madlib, I would be like that. Like when I get like, you know, when I see like GeneralBackPain, cause like when I hear his music, I'm just like, I don't know what you look like. So it makes it that much mysteriously on it.
See what you said? I think that mystique can play with some people. Not everybody can do that. You know what I mean? Because it comes down to Backpain is a traditionalist I look at that is relying on, yo, you gonna respect this fucking rhyme right here. You gonna respect you gonna respect it. So I think it's also, when Backpain creates a little bit like the MF Doom, you know what I mean? Peace, Backpain, my brother.
Peace, Backpain, yes sir.
When he do a little bit, it's like it's a relation to a book and a movie. When you read a book, you can form the interpretation in your head of what the main character is or what it may look like. You create the field of vision that you want to create. Now, with a movie, that field of vision is presented to you and given to you. So now you're looking at the director's vision. There's not really room for interpretation in a film, but in a book, there is. So I feel like sometimes people like to have that interpretation. It's like the same effect when some people say they read the book and they watched the movie and they didn't like it. Because in their mind, the interpretation they have from the book was totally different for the actor they may have cast for the movie. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely can understand that. I think sometimes if you do break it, it could, shatter a certain way. But I think if you are a good enough MC and you're strong with it, you could do that. You could do that. And that's what you want to do, definitely do. I never tell anybody how to be or change their style. I know for me, like I say, I know what's successful for myself. I know what I have to do. If someone's successful doing what they're doing, hey, don't let me stop you, man. Keep going with that,
But everything that you just said right there now, too, I like because it shows, like, the influence on, like, what this culture can do to, like, a future artist. Like, that's what I like about it now, too. It's like, you just never know who you can inspire.
Yeah, you never know. And it's, like you said, it's a wide range now, you know what I mean? So you got many different kind of cats. So it's really dope. I feel like now you get to really look around and be like, I'm gonna grab a little this, and then you may have your fan, the fans who are like real indie underground snobs who are like, yo, I like this, and feel like, a lot of people want to be first too. Like, you don't know about that Hometeam, or you don't know about Killy Shoot. Like that puts you on.
I like that shit though.
But up in the '90s, I felt pride hearing a mixtape, hearing Big L, and running to my boys like, you ain't never heard this. Yeah, this is and they're like, who is this? I'm like, it's Big L. They're like, Big who? Big L. Take a listen. I put you on to that. You know what I'm saying? So there's always a special feeling when you can put someone on or put people on that feel like you're a part of something. And you should feel great about that because you're the one who, the art of discovery is an art within itself. You should take pride. People should always take pride in that.
You see, I like how you said that now too, like with a mixtape now too, because I remember like being so early, like, take it 2 hours of mixtapes. I remember being so early. As I got older, I tried to download DJ Clue mixtapes. So I remember there was this one site where the guy ripped all the cassettes he had from DJ Clue mixtape. This guy goes, Rampage. That was the first time I ever heard of Rampage. I was like, for most people who don't know Rampage, Scouts by Honor, go listen to that album, put it right there. Yo, when I heard that, I was like, yo, who the fuck is this Rampage? So that, it's like that rawness. And then as we got, to the more digital age of mixtape, I remember when Willie the Kid was first coming on the scene with I was like, man, this guy, I was so early on that guy to see his beginning stages to where he is now. It's like, dude, this guy was like, he started on these mixtapes that were by the biggest guy in mixtape who got busted by that. Now he's like considered like a young OG.
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely right. That Willie definitely dope. And I think that that gives inspiration to a lot of us cats, you know what I mean? Because we see the growth of so many MCs.
Yeah.
A lot of times it is frustrating for some MCs though because your growth sometimes you want to expedite your growth. You know what I mean? I think it wants to expedite their growth to I feel I should be here. I think one thing I learned the most is that just make quality music.
Yeah, because you can't force your progress. It's like you gotta have to let your work do that for you.
Exactly. It may take time. There's times when people pick it up after 6 months, and that's the beauty of music. Sometimes it is timeless. So therefore, you can't force it down someone's throat. Like, love my shit, fuck with my shit right now. This is nothing. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we may respect a lot of people saying that because we love our villains and we love we love that swag sometimes of say you the best. You should feel like you the best because you should feel like that. And then we also love our humble people. So, like I always say, I always find a balance.
It's a balance, like what you get, balance. I like
that. Balance. Once you got that balance set, you can understand all of this. So, for me, this rap game is very fun. It's easy. I kind of I can always see, I see everything in chess. I always see things many moves ahead and how I want to be presented. So, it's very dope and it is inspiring, like you said, when you see cats from this level to here. It's very inspiring to cats like myself, the cats my level, cats above me, cats behind me. all that. It's inspiring to all of us.
Well, yeah, and like that's what like makes like like a project come like even better because like you said like we're in a day and age now too. You can put out multiple projects now too, and people won't be like, oh, his first one was the best one. It's like, nah, man, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh one was pretty good now too, bro.
Yeah, I do like the fact that things are not fans are gonna be fans, but it's not concentrated so hard of like
Your
not.
debut.
You could drop four or five albums right in the span of 2 to 3 years,
Yeah.
and you can do a lot faster. Excuse me, but you drop those albums, a fan may be like, yo, I did like this one, but then you may have a fan like, I like this one. So that's why I love this environment right now because I can do something like a math, and some people are like, y'all rocking with that beat. Then you got some people who may be into a certain niche that be like, man, but that Violet the Lights, I was really vibing because
Yeah.
not like one takes away from the other. It's just another chapter or another side of the individual. And fans are a little bit more accepting of an MC being multi-dimensional. You know what I'm saying? Not just keeping them in a box. So I think that's dope.
I think that got better throughout time now too because we got to see where it went, and it's like, whoa, this guy took it too far.
Yeah. I can't lie. With some of my favorite artists growing up, you'd be like, whoa. What are you doing? But I believe we're in an environment now where, it's very forgiving. I feel, the one thing I noticed though, I feel like when a fan in this era right now kind of gravitates to an artist that loves their music, it's not like just the music alone that they're loving. They're kind of feeling the whole, everything with it.
Yeah, the essence around it.
Yeah, thank you. The essence. So where that artist may not come back with that album that is totally lyrically above that previous album, but you feel the essence so much that it's like, ooh, this is, I definitely feel on this level, and you just want more of that.
Yeah, and you're gonna go look for it now too, because if you want more, you're gonna go look for it.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of times I hear like, yo, just give me that Killy Shoot shit. It's like, okay.
Give me that Hometeam vibe, like, because like it's like what you said now too. Like, if you really like it, you're gonna go out and search it, and that's what I like because you could find dope artists like yourself or like Backpain stuff like that.
Thank you.
Thank you. So what I like about an interview now too. Before even I used to do interviews, man, I used to like listen to like inspirational things. I'm like, oh, you're that 15 seconds of what he said right there about your destiny. I felt that right there. So there could be like a hardcore Killy Shoot fan out there who like really looks up to and just needs like that little bit of inspiration to what I said. So I ask this all my guests now too. So with that being said, do you have any words for somebody in a dark place trying to see the light?
I'm sorry if anybody is trying to do what?
If somebody is in a dark place trying to see the light.
Yeah, I definitely do. I would say if you're in a dark place, you try to see the light, and get out of that. Believe in yourself. Never stop believing and never stop questioning yourself. And stay steadfast in your endeavor. You know what I mean? Believe in what you're doing. If there's any fault or any uncertainty in that, it's going to show. It's going to show. So being authentic and believing in what you do, and, don't be foolish. You know what I mean? As in, if everybody's telling you it's trash and you feel strong about it, you gotta believe in yourself what's right. So if you are in a dark place, whether it's in this music shit or within your life, my only advice is to definitely always believe in yourself that the sun will shine, because I see many dark days and I see many black clouds. To artists who are coming up and doing this as well, like, yo, just do what you do, man. Don't get so caught up in the social media. Do what you do. You know what I mean? Don't fall into the trap. Social media, like I said, is the blessing and the curse. And you may fall down a rabbit hole where now the phone is glued to your hand and it is taking over your life because you're watching every single thing someone's saying. Let it go. Live your life. Enjoy your life. You know what I mean? Go sip on my tea.
Put the phone on the other side. Go do something.
You know what I mean? You know what I see? Like, go have other things that are gonna build you up, and always be confident in what you're doing. So if you are in a dark place and you feel like you can't see the light, you know what I'm saying? Definitely believe in yourself. I always believe that, your inner light will shine through. I'm not going to get too preachy, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely believe that the strength does come within you, you know what I'm saying? Because if the strength's not within you, who's it going to be within, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. Oh, gem right there now, too. And that's what I like about, like, vibing with an artist who actually has morals now, too. Because the whole interview is filled with gems now, too. I can't wait to chop it up and get what clips I'm going to be using now, too. So, with that being said now, too, man, I like that. I like asking that question now too, especially to someone wiser, because they're gonna give you like a phenomenal answer instead of like, except for I give Raz Kaz a hard time about that all the time. Shout out to Raz Kaz because when he gave the most hilarious answer to that, he just said, "Get over it." I'm like, oh, yeah.
I mean, simplicity is also brilliance within itself.
Oh yeah.
So
He warmed up during he came on like 3 times, but the first time he had no idea who I was, so he just like, get over it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna ask you. I want to get a little bit more established, and as we grew, it's like I bug that about that all the time. I'm like, you know what you said? Just get over it.
I mean, get over it. I can definitely understand that answer. I can understand where you're coming from. I mean, of course, for me, something different. I have followed you for a little bit. I kind of see what you have done. You know, I've been aware. You know what I'm saying? And plus, like, you know, I kind of dig it. And like, to me, what you do. I mean, first of all, you know, thank you for having me. You know,
yeah. I just like covering dope artists like yourself, and because like what I like to say, if I want to hear what he has to say, there's gonna be other people that want to know what he has to say.
I appreciate that. I see what you do, and I really, you know, you have a certain level of humility to yourself and what you do. And sometimes I read some of your quotes and how you even inspire, you know, you inspire me sometimes. You believe in yourself. I can tell you believe in yourself heavy, you know, where you want to be, and you have goals set for yourself, and you have, you know, an outlook on where you want to be. So with that, I respect you, Lo. I really do, because I know, you know what I'm saying? So as we going in this together, you know what I mean? I'm growing, you growing, and hopefully later stages we come back around like, yo, we both at this level. So I wish nothing but the best for you, bro. Seriously.
And like what? When you're on tour with the Locks, man, I have the Joe Rogan studio. I'm like, yo, Killy Shoot, just come to the studio.
I'm like, yo, Lo, come through, man, come through, Lo. You know the deal. You good with it. You know what I mean? You always good with Ill Kill all day, man. You good with Hometeam. You good with me, man. It's all good, B. It's always all good.
Hey, and when every time you want to come back, promote something, just let me know, and we'll make it happen. We did it with Backpain. We'll do it with the rest of you guys too now.
Thank you, man. I truly appreciate that, Lo, man. Truly, this interview didn't even feel like an interview to me, man.
No, like, I like you. I looked at the time now too. I was like, damn, yo, we just flew.
I didn't even notice, B. I mean, you have a lot of stuff to choppity chop, but I will say.
I love it though. I love it.
Thank you, man. I felt like I was just talking to the homie, man.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't even feel like I kind of caught and forgot that we still doing this. I thought we just on the FaceTime talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. I totally forgot about it, man. It's you got a way of making people feel real comfortable, for real. I totally felt comfortable for this whole interview.
Oh, that's good. Because I understand my people, like with the cloth now, too. They were a little bit wary of me, right? I'm like, yo, just let me show you guys my face, show you guys I'm not the police. And I was all good.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Come on. You know what I mean? You came on with your face straight up, and I knew a little history, but, you know, a lot of us are from that life, so, you know what I mean? You know, being interviewed and stuff, you know what I mean?
Oh, no, I get, because you see, that's why I want to try changing that, because when I see, like, an outlet, like I don't even like saying that guy's name, but when he'll go post something, like something negative about hip-hop, and then he'll go cover, like, an artist with respect, and it's like, dude, I don't like that. So I'm like, that's what kind of made me, like, want to do this. I'm like, who's going to make that change?
Yeah, you got to make a change within yourself. You know what I mean? So I definitely feel that. I know exactly what you're talking about, because it's like, do you really want that represented on behalf of what this culture is?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's cats like yourself that really help shed light on this. You know what I mean? You know, the artists, we just artists. You know what I mean? It's the media that kind of does focus the light to a certain direction. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely understand that. And that's why I said I really did what you do. I felt like, you know, I think it was the interview you did with Classic Villains with White.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Just the whole way you brought it out, I was like, it was really like a feature film. You know?
Oh yeah, that's what I was. Yeah. I'm trying to get back into that. Yeah.
I'm telling you something right now, Lo. I seen you level up, man. I've been seeing you level up. So it's like, it's really cool. And at this point, for me to get an interview slide in, and I'm progressing, and I see you leveling up as well. Yeah, Lo, man, it's dope, man. Anytime you want to ever chat it up, man, about any questions you may have, I'm always available. You can hit me up. May not respond.
Yeah. I understand that too. You're busy. Everyone has their own individual lives.
But definitely, I always keep it out for you, bro. If you got anything you need to ask me or anything like that, man, it's always love, man. I always try to break that bread and make that time for you, bro, for real.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. I gotta get on one of those game nights with y'all and game out with y'all.
Oh yeah. You might have to get nice. I know you busy too, though, but come through, man. It's all love, man. It's always all love, B. Always all love.
Is there anything that you want to let the people know? Plug a few plugins before I let you go, my G.
Let me see. Me and Onaje, new project, Knowledge Born, will be coming within the next couple of months. That's gonna be. I don't want to say the sequel to Heavy Math. No, just gonna be a continuation.
Okay, I like that.
Not a direct sequel.
Not Heavy Math 2. This is a continuation. I like that.
Just like a little part. Violent Delights. We'll be having something special happen. I don't want to say too much. My people.
Okay.
Keep your eyes open, and those who really like the project, you're gonna be happy when it comes out soon. I really did this for the fans. You know what I mean? Anytime the fans truly dictate what I do, I want to thank everybody that fucks with my music, that supports me. I don't get to say this enough. I truly appreciate that. It goes a long way. I hear everything. I try to respond to everybody. I know sometimes I don't get to, but understand that I do hear you, and I try to respond as much as possible. Shout out to my home team, my brothers. Shout out to everybody I work with. Shout out to my fam. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to the underground. And just stay aware. A lot more stuff coming from the Ill Kill. You're gonna be surprised by the closing of this year to early next year. It's not stopping. A lot of good things happen. A lot of big moves, and I don't like to really talk too much and be the guy like, yeah, I'm doing this. Because you never know. I always say, inshallah, in accordance to the grace of Allah. So we're gonna see what comes about. But thank you so much for everybody for listening. And if you listen to this whole interview with me and Lo, salute. Thank you. With diehard Killy Shoot fans, I will always have something for you. And my people, my fans, my family, y'all know how to reach me. You can always ask me anything. I'm not one of those cats. You know the deal. I get questions about lyrics and everything all the time, and I try to answer everything. I know I missed some, but I'm always thinking, and thank you so much for your support, everybody.
Hey, that's good. That's how great things are going to happen for you, because you're thankful about that. So it's like, what does gold, AK gold cartridge Zelda mean to the I ain't fucking answering that. You would answer that. That's what I like about you.
Have you played Zelda? Have you ever held the NES cartridge? Have you ever seen that? If you never, and that's like, if you never played Zelda, the first one, and never experienced the excitement of that gold cartridge, then, unfortunately, there's nothing I could do for you, but you definitely still could be cool. You still could talk to him.
There's YouTube. You could just see what the hype was about this documentary on that whole game.
You already know.
Shout out to the Game Historian, I want my check now since for that plug now too. If you watch just the Game Historian,
Let me get the percentage too.
But yeah, man, this was a great interview, man. It was a hell of a vibe, man. This was a lot of gems, man. So if you got to hear, man, you were in for one hell of a treat now too. And like you said, you'll be coming back when you release a new project now too. So with that being said, it's the third episode for season 8, and man, I just wanted to say thank you, Killy Shoot, for taking the time and actually being an artist who's staying true to what he believes in. Like, I'm just tracing a check. We need more artists like you.
Thank you, love. Much love and respect always, my brother.